Fire can happen at any time of the day or night, and when a fire starts, it has the potential to injure or kill large numbers of people very quickly. Fire safety is one of the many issues that by law are the responsibility of all members of staff in the care home to be aware of, in order to minimise the risk of injury or death to staff, residents and visitors. So it is important to be fully aware of the risks of fire in your care home and how these risks can be reduced or eliminated. People often think it will never happen to me, but for some of you this may one day become a terrifying reality. Each year the fire service attends almost 500,000 fires in which over 500 people lose their lives. Under the Regulatory Reform Fire Safety Order 2005, it is the responsibility of all members of staff to be aware of fire risks and to understand basic fire prevention. Fire kills, and the greatest fire risks are not created by buildings, but by the people and objects inside them. This video aims to make you more aware of these risks and to understand ways of preventing fires from starting in the first place. Before we look at how to prevent fires happening, let's look at how fires start. In order to have fire, we need three things: fuel, oxygen, and heat. This is known as the triangle of fire. Get all three together in the right proportion and we have fire. Keeping these three elements at a safe distance from each other is the first step to preventing a fire from starting. For example, a fire cannot start if there is no heat to ignite the fuel, there is no oxygen to feed the flames, there is no fuel to catch fire. Oxygen is present all around us. It is in the air we breathe. In some residential care premises, oxygen is used for medical purposes, in which case precautions need to be taken to prevent leaks that would enrich the air and make fires easier to start, and once started become more fierce. So much of fire prevention involves keeping fuel and heat sources away from each other. For example, don't leave towels near heaters to dry. Always keep an eye out for potential fire hazards. Some potential hazards include irons left unattended, heat sources such as gas hobs and ovens, flammable materials near heat sources, faulty wiring, overloaded sockets, aerosols and cleaning products, and messy storage areas. Smoking can also pose a significant risk of fire in a care home. Although the law regarding smoking in public places has changed, there are exemptions to the smoking ban for residential and nursing homes. Smoking in care homes must be regulated and monitored carefully, both from a legal and safety point of view. Care home managers can designate specific areas for smoking. These can only be individual bedrooms or rooms used only for smoking by persons over 18 years. Any room where smoking is permitted must be designated in writing by the person in charge of the premises, be fully enclosed other than doors and windows, not be ventilated into any other non-smoking area, have mechanically closing doors and be clearly marked as a smoking room. In October 2006, fire regulations changed, and now people who are responsible for care homes are required to carry out their own fire risk assessment, which involves identifying fire risks and then eliminating, reducing or controlling them. Various other duties imposed on care home owners include ensuring that staff are adequately trained to deal with emergencies such as fire, ensuring staff are trained how to use firefighting equipment, ensuring that all fire safety features are maintained in good working order. Whoever is responsible for fire safety in your care home has a duty to inform you of the significant findings of the fire risk assessment where these findings may affect you. A fire can start in any part of the home and by many different means. It is important to be aware of danger areas and take appropriate precautions. Areas of high fire risk are known as fire hazard rooms and could include kitchens, laundry rooms, stores for highly combustible materials such as linen stores, boiler rooms, lift motor rooms, large day rooms for 10 or more people, smoking rooms, smoking bedrooms. In kitchens, make sure that cooking is not left unattended. Also ensure that in a fire drill or in the event of a real fire, all cooking appliances are turned off. Other common hazards encountered in kitchens include towels or other flammable materials stored close to sources of heat. Fire blankets and fire extinguishers should be located in easily accessible places, clearly visible, away from heat sources and preferably close to the exit from the room. Fires from chip pan or deep fat fryers are a common cause of kitchen fires, which if not handled correctly can have disastrous consequences. Never use water to extinguish liquid fires, or this could be the result. For large deep-fat fryers, a wet chemical extinguisher is necessary, and for smaller ones, a fire blanket may be sufficient. Storerooms can pose a particularly high fire risk. All flammable materials and liquids should be kept in a locked room. This includes bed linen, aerosols and cleaning chemicals. They should be kept as clean and tidy as possible. Boiler and lift motor rooms pose a high risk of fire. As these rooms are usually unattended, it is important to keep them clean and tidy at all times. Electricity should be treated as a form of heat, and so all electrical equipment must be switched off when not in use. This includes equipment like televisions and hi-fis. A television left on standby could pose a fire risk, so make sure they're switched off and unplugged at the end of the day. Do not overload sockets and make regular checks on all plugs, sockets and electrical appliances. If you notice anything faulty, report it to your supervisor immediately. The wiring of plugs, light fittings and other electrical appliances should only be carried out by a suitably trained person. Plug fuses should be appropriate for the apparatus they are protecting. Always keep flammable materials and liquids away from electricity. If your care home has a smoking room or allows smoking in designated bedrooms, the risk of fire from a carelessly discarded cigarette increases dramatically, so additional checks and precautions must be in place for these areas. Where smoking is permitted in a designated smoking room, keep rooms free from paper and rubbish that could catch fire, and never provide a waste bin in a smoking room. Supply enough non-combustible ashtrays, preferably the heavy glass type. It is a good idea to put a little water in the bottom of each ashtray. Ashtrays should be fixed or properly placed to avoid being knocked over, and should be emptied into a non-combustible container each night. Inspect smoking areas regularly throughout the day, and inspect the smoking room 30 minutes after it has been vacated and last thing at night. Ensure any foam-filled furniture conforms to at least Crib 5 standard, or better still, don't allow foam-filled furniture in designated smoking areas. Where a resident is permitted to smoke in their room, they should be encouraged not to smoke in bed, as this is extremely dangerous. Regular checks of these rooms should also be carried out by night staff. Although people may have a right to smoke, they do not have the right to put others at risk of harm either by the smoke from their cigarette or by a fire started by careless or accidental disposal of smoking materials. Smoking materials are the biggest cause of fire-related deaths in the home. An average of 120 deaths occur in this way each year.